There comes a time in everyone's life when motivation fades. The excitement that once burned brightly dims. The early energy that propelled us forward begins to wear off, and we're left with the reality of the work, the grind, and the long path ahead. It's in these quiet, uncomfortable, and often frustrating moments that the true test begins, not a test of skill or intelligence, but of consistency. For many, this is where the journey ends. For a few, it's where it truly begins. Jack Ma, the Chinese entrepreneur and founder of Alibaba, is one of those few who pressed forward when it would have been easier to give up. His story is a reminder that the key to success is not always talent or luck, but showing up every day, even when every fiber of your being says not to. Jack Ma is famously known for his failures. He was rejected from dozens of jobs, including KFC, where all the applicants were hired except him. He failed the college entrance exam twice. He was turned down by Harvard 10 times. For many people, any one of these setbacks would have been enough to create a permanent story of defeat. But Jack Ma didn't stop. He kept trying, and more importantly, he kept showing up. That quiet perseverance, that internal decision to remain consistent in the face of discouragement, eventually led to the creation of Alibaba, one of the most influential e-commerce platforms in the world. Most people look at someone like Jack Ma and focus on the outcome, the billions of dollars, the global influence, the legacy. But that outcome was built not in moments of inspiration, but in the countless days when he didn't feel like trying, yet did anyway. This is the part most people don't want to hear. Consistency doesn't sound glamorous. It isn't flashy or exciting. It's not the kind of thing that draws crowds or sparks applause. But consistency is the silent engine behind every success story. It is doing the right thing day after day, especially when no one is watching, when there's no reward, and when you'd rather do anything else. Our culture often glorifies the hustle, working around the clock, achieving massive success overnight, constantly chasing the next big thing. But the reality is that most dreams don't die because people didn't work hard. They die because people stopped being consistent. They started strong, but didn't finish. They got tired, bored, overwhelmed, or distracted, and when the initial motivation faded, they had nothing to replace it with. Jack Ma understood this. He didn't rely on being in the mood. He relied on discipline. When you commit to something deeply, when you believe in your mission, you push through your feelings. You get up and keep moving, even if it's only one step at a time. Being consistent isn't about doing something huge every day. It's not about grand gestures. It's about small, steady efforts that add up over time. It's about choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. If you go to the gym once and lift heavy weights for hours, you might feel accomplished, but your body won't change. If you go every day, even for 30 minutes, even when you don't feel strong or motivated, your body begins to transform. The same principle applies to every area of life: career, relationships, learning, health. Success doesn't belong to those who do the most once. It belongs to those who do enough, often. Jack Ma often speaks about resilience, the idea that you don't lose when you fail. You only lose when you quit. Many people fail once and convince themselves that they're not cut out for the journey. They treat failure like a verdict instead of a lesson. But consistent people see failure differently. They see it as part of the process, as information, as an opportunity to improve. They don't let setbacks shake their commitment. In fact, they expect them. Jack Ma failed repeatedly, yet each time, he came back, not with bitterness or excuses, but with determination and learning. Consistency is about trust. When you are consistent, people begin to trust you: employers, teammates, customers, even yourself. You build a reputation not just for showing up, but for being reliable, for doing what you said you would do, for staying the course. That kind of trust is rare, and it's incredibly valuable in business, in leadership, in relationships. The most powerful currency is consistency. Talent is common. Ideas are everywhere. But someone who does what they say, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, stands out. They earn respect. They build influence. They make a difference. There will always be days when you don't feel like doing the work. That's not a sign of weakness. It's part of being human. Motivation is a wave. It comes and goes. Sometimes it lifts you, and other times it disappears completely. If your actions are tied to motivation, you'll always be at the mercy of your mood. But if your actions are tied to commitment, to consistency, to a larger purpose, You gain control. You stop asking how you feel and start asking what needs to be done. That shift is where discipline is born, and discipline is what builds dreams. Asterisk Jack Ma didn't wake up every day full of energy and optimism. He had fears, doubts, frustrations. He faced rejection, criticism, and countless obstacles. But what made him different is that he didn't stop. He kept showing up. He kept building. He kept believing. He knew that success wasn't about doing what you love when it's easy. It's about doing what matters even when it's hard. He believed in the power of time and effort multiplied by consistency. That belief didn't make the work easier, but it made it possible. Asterisk consistency also builds character. Every time you choose to do something difficult instead of something easy, you become stronger. Every time you follow through on your goals instead of giving in to distractions, you develop self-respect. Over time, these small acts of follow-through create a sense of identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who keeps going, who doesn't quit, who can be counted on. That identity is powerful. It's the foundation of confidence, not arrogance or false optimism, but real confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you can trust yourself. Asterisk, the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs more consistent ones, people who keep their promises, people who follow through, people who work hard quietly and patiently, building something meaningful over time. That's how real success is created, not overnight, not without struggle, but through thousands of small, disciplined steps taken day after day. That's what Jack Ma showed us. That's what anyone who has ever achieved something great knows. Success is slow, it's boring, it's uncomfortable, but it's also deeply satisfying because it's earned. Asterisk, many people will start something new, a business, a project, a personal goal with energy and excitement, but very few will continue when it stops being exciting. That's the difference. Anyone can be consistent when things are going well. The real test is when they aren't, when the results aren't showing, when no one is cheering, when progress is invisible. Can you still show up? Can you still do the work? If you can, you are already ahead of most people, because that's where the growth happens. That's where transformation begins. Asterisk, Jack Ma didn't have advantages. He didn't come from money. He wasn't highly skilled in technology. He was an English teacher with a vision, but what he had was resilience. He had patience. He had consistency. He didn't let temporary emotions control permanent decisions. He didn't wait for permission to try, and he didn't stop when things got hard. That's the lesson. You don't need to be the smartest, richest, or most talented. You just need to be the one who doesn't give up, the one who keeps walking, one step at a time, no matter how far the destination seems. Asterisk, if you're working on something important, you feel tired, discouraged, or tempted to quit, remember that this moment is the most important moment. Anyone can work when they feel like it. Champions work when they don't. The world is full of people who almost did something great. Be someone who finishes. Be someone who keeps going. Because one day, the small, quiet efforts will become something extraordinary. One day, people will look at your success and call it talent, luck, or timing. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it was consistency. Asterisk, so when the excitement wears off, when the progress slows down, when it feels like you're walking in the dark with no end in sight, keep walking. Keep doing the work. Keep trusting the process, because that's when it counts the most. And if you stay the course long enough, one day, just like Jack Ma said, the sunshine will come, and it will feel even warmer because you earned it.